In 2011, an unknown British housewife published a book she wrote on her laptop between doing laundry and making dinner. 3 years later, that book sold 150 million copies. It outsold Harry Potter. It outsold the Da Vinci Code. It became the best-selling book of the decade. And here's the interesting part. 90% of buyers were women. Women who read it secretly, hid the cover on the subway, deleted it from their browser history. That book was 50 Shades of Grey, a story about a billionaire who, let's just say, doesn't take his girlfriend on romantic candlelit dinners. And here's the question men around the world ask themselves in 2012, watching their wives and girlfriends devour this trilogy. Wait, this is what turns you on? Seriously. Today we're going to break down what's really behind this phenomenon, why the formula dangerous but controlled works like a master key to female desire, and why the answer is deeper, darker, and more ancient than you think. But first, let's talk about what women never say out loud. In 1973, a psychologist named Barbara Cartland conducted research that nearly destroyed her career. She surveyed over 1,000 women, married, single, young, mature, about their sexual fantasies. Anonymous, no judgment, just tell me what you think about when nobody's watching. The results were unexpected. Fantasies about candlelit romance? Sure, those existed. Fantasies about tenderness and love? Of course, but in first place, by a huge margin, were fantasies about domination, submission, a man who takes control. And this was in 1973, before the internet, before Tinder, before 50 Shades. Since then, dozens of studies have confirmed the same thing. In 2009, the University of Notre Dame conducted a meta-analysis of all existing data on female fantasies. The conclusion? Between 31% and 62% of women, depending on the study, admit to fantasies about force or domination. And that's only those who admit it, anonymously. To scientists, the real numbers are probably higher. Now here's the interesting part. Ask any woman directly, are you attracted to dominant men? And she'll say, no, that's ridiculous. I'm an independent person. I need an equal partner. And she's not lying. She genuinely believes it, but her subconscious is reading 50 Shades of Grey under the covers. This isn't hypocrisy. It's the conflict between what we want to want and what we actually want. So why does this happen? Where does this gap come from? The answer lies in our evolutionary history, and it will surprise you. Let's travel back 100,000 years. You're a woman in a tribe of hunter-gatherers. Around you, savanna, predators, and neighboring tribes that aren't always friendly. You have one main task: survive and raise offspring. And here's the question your brain is solving every second. Which man will give my children the best chances? On one hand, you need a protector, someone who can stand up to threats. Someone strong, confident, capable of dominating rivals. On the other hand, you need that strength directed toward your protection, not against you. You need a dangerous man who's dangerous to others, but safe for you. This is the formula of controlled danger. Look at the archetypes women find attractive in culture, from ancient myths to modern cinema. Count Dracula, ancient, dangerous, all-powerful, but loses his mind over one specific woman. Mr. Darcy, cold, commanding, unapproachable, until he meets Elizabeth Bennet. Edward Cullen, literally a predator who could kill her with one move, but dedicates his immortal life to protecting her. Christian Grey, a billionaire with dark tendencies, who turns out to be a broken boy who can be fixed with love. See the pattern? It's not just bad boy, it's bad boy who can be tamed. Danger without safety, that's fear, that repels. Safety without danger, that's boredom. That doesn't work either. But danger plus safety? just for her? That's the magic combination. It tells the ancient brain, this man is an alpha. He can protect me from everything, and he chose me. But there's another layer, a dark layer, and almost nobody talks about it. In 2012, and at the peak of 50 Shades popularity, psychologists decided to figure out, why are submission fantasies so common among women? And one of the answers turned out to be unexpected. It's connected to the removal of responsibility. Listen, we live in a world where women constantly receive contradictory messages about sexuality. Be sexy, but not too much. Want sex, but don't show it. Be liberated, but not loose. This creates internal conflict, guilt about your own desires. And here's what the domination fantasy does. It removes that guilt. If he takes control, she's not guilty of her pleasure. She surrendered. She couldn't resist. It's a psychological mechanism that allows getting what you want without the burden of responsibility. And here it's critically important to understand the difference. A domination fantasy is not a desire for real violence. It's a desire for a safe game of danger. In fantasy, everything is controlled. Everything can be stopped. There's no real threat. It's like a roller coaster. You experience fear, but you know you're not in danger. Adrenaline without risk. Interestingly, research shows women with domination fantasies more often have high self-esteem, not low. This isn't a sign of trauma or insecurity. It's a sign of developed imagination and capacity for erotic play. Paradoxical, but true. But 50 Shades of Grey added another ingredient to this formula. And that's exactly what made the book a nuclear bomb. Christian Grey isn't just a dominant man. He's a broken dominant man. He has childhood trauma. His mother was a drug addict. He was adopted. He was seduced by an adult woman. His dark tendencies are the result of pain. And you know what the book's heroine, Anastasia, does? She fixes him with her love. This adds a third element to the dangerous plus safe formula. Needing me. He's powerful. He controls everything around him, but he can't control his pain, and only she can heal him. This gives a woman a sense of uniqueness, irreplaceability, power. He could have anyone, but only I can give him what he truly needs. So the final formula, danger plus safety plus only you can save me equals 150 million copies sold. This isn't coincidence. It's hacking the evolutionary code. So what does all this mean for you? If you're watching this video, first, don't judge. If your girlfriend reads spicy novels, it doesn't mean she wants you to turn into Christian Grey. Fantasy and reality are different things. Second, understand the mechanics. Women aren't attracted to roughness or violence. They're attracted to strength that's under control, confidence, the ability to lead, and at the same time, safety. Third, forget the extremes. You don't need a red room with handcuffs. You need understanding that women are complex beings with contradictory desires. And that's normal. 150 million women bought 50 Shades of Grey. Most of them will never admit it publicly. Many won't even tell their partners. Because between what we want and what we're ready to admit we want lies a huge gap. And you know what? What she reads at night when she thinks nobody's watching will tell you more about her than 1,000 conversations during the day. Subscribe if you want to understand what's happening in women's heads. Not what they say, but what they hide. See you in the next video.